the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You're always scum. Rebel Scum
Podcast. We're here again 1 week later and plus 1 day. I am Brock. This is... And he's muted. Hey, I'm James. I'm James.
Hey.
And joining
Star
us,
Wars in
as
the chat.
always, 2 weeks in a row, Heidi Feder, executive producer. Hi, Heidi.
Hey, I see Star Wars is in the house.
Whoa.
Apparently, George Lucas is filming American Graffiti 3 right outside of Brock's.
No, it was me.
That was you? What
Yeah.
was that?
I was usually.
Well, that makes more sense. He would be shooting it where you are more likely than where Brock is. Skeleton Crew, episode 3. Episode 3 of Skeleton. Does this one have a title? Do these shows have titles? I don't know what they're called. I just call it episode
like
3. I liked it.
Like this episode, it did have a title. Let me look it up. Banter.
It was called Jod and Nana Wood. Jod Nana Wood. Janata
That's
Wood.
a terrible.
I gotta say, Heidi messaged me earlier this week and she was like, "He's Captain Crimson Jack from Legends."
No way.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think he's Crimson Jack. I don't think he is Silvo. I think he's Jod Nana Wood. I think that's his real name. I think he's gonna be Jod Nana Wood. That's what I think. I think his name is Jod Nana Wood. Jod Nana Wood. What a
That's
name.
the worst name ever. Joey
Worst.
Joe Jab Sabadoo.
You know, he had 3 names in this episode, right? 3 names in this episode.
3 names. And episode
Oh, and they
3.
finally confirmed the thing that was splitting the internet in half, that he was actually the captain of the ship from the first episode. You know, the captain that sounded like Jude Law in a mask? It turns out that he was actually Jude Law in a mask.
What a concept. The title of this episode was very interesting as an astrogation.
Yeah.
As an
Brock,
astrogation problem.
Star Wars is hitting us with the knowledge right now. Very interesting. An astrogation problem. I love that title. Wow. I love this show, by the way. That owl, was the owl's name Kim?
Kim.
Yeah.
Boom.
She's like half cat.
She was from Clash of the Titans. Is that what it is? Clash of the Titans?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I know. I looked over at my cat Dusty. I'm like, is this you with wings? What's happening here? That thing was awesome. It looked totally like it was from the 80s, though. I was like, what is happening? I loved it.
Did we see that character in a trailer? Because I wasn't overly surprised when I saw it straight on.
Yeah, I think we forgot about it. I forgot about it, so now we.
Yeah,
I can't speak for you.
I was just shocked we heard the theremin. I never thought we'd hear a theremin.
I'm like, we need to go back to this planet over and over again for the theremin only.
Danny, give a shout out to Star Wars. The droids. Oh yeah, okay. We're gonna get into the droid scene because obviously I watched it 17 times. When did we win? When the battle droid? We'll get into that one. This is where. So now I think we got the first 2 episodes, quote unquote, out of the way. The setup for the series is out of the way, and now we can get into what's going on. The kids have to return home to Aden, which everyone kind of knows from myth and legend, and we learn more and more about this myth and legend. And Jude Law says, "I have a friend," and then he says, "She," and Brock. I was like, hell yeah, Pelimoto's coming back. We're going to Tatooine.
I meant to look up. Watched the credits with the who voice acted that the Kim character because it sounded very familiar. But I was like, Maz Kanata. I'm like,
that one character was Alfred Molina voicing him. I can't remember the name of that species. And I was like, Alfred Molina. Why Doc Ock?
I was like, that sounds familiar. I was like, there are definitely voice actors in this show.
But then you put the John Watts connection, and you're like, oh yeah, he directed Spider-Man 3. Yeah.
He knows.
Yeah, like he probably was just. Yeah, Heidi.
No, I was just saying, when I saw her hand, I thought she was an alien. I didn't realize she was a little owl.
Yeah, I didn't either. I was like, oh,
I thought, oh, she's like some alien slug thing. It turned out she was like a cat owl or something.
Yeah, when I saw the shot of the hands, I'm like, oh, I feel like this is someone we've seen before, but no, it was like, no, not the case.
Yeah, they were meant to stall on someone. I think it might have just been like someone from the New Republic working with the X-Wing pilots. Or something.
There were 2 X-Wing pilots. I think we only saw the one, so she might have been one of the X-Wing.
Yeah, I thought we were Dispatch. Maybe it was Dispatch.
Yeah. I thought we were gonna see like Trapper Wolf or.
I was hoping so too.
Or from Canada,
Carson Teva. You know what? I was kind of glad that it wasn't either one, because there has to be other X-Wing pilots in the galaxy at some point. We're like, there's got to be more. But to be honest, I was also like, ooh, are we going to get it? And then after it wasn't, I was like, you know what? Maybe it shouldn't always be Carson Teva who shows up in all these. As much fun as that is, maybe we need to expand the world a bit.
I honestly thought the voice over like the intercom, it sounded like Jon Favreau. I'm like, oh, so I was waiting for him to pop up.
He's going to. He's 100% going to.
Absolutely. How many characters has he been so far?
So this episode started off with the parents. We saw more of the parents, which is the only thing about this show that doesn't feel like an 80s Amblin film, because the parents were non-existent in 80s. They just kind of like, especially Goonies, they're like, there were parents apparently at some point. But this one we see that but the dad, there's some extra concern on Wim's dad. He knows there's something more. He's suspecting something more than the other moms or the other parents. I guess they're all moms. The other moms than he does, I suppose.
Well, I wonder what happened to his wife. I wonder if like maybe she was a bit rebellious,
oh my God.
Like his son, and then like they got rid of her or something.
If it's an 80s movie, he's gonna find his mom somewhere in the galaxy, and she's like, "Son, I was lost in a vortex in space." She's British, also, by the way. So.
Well, I mean, they're definitely pushing this whole, like, we don't know what we're actually doing on our planet. It's like the great work. So it's like perhaps the mom's disappearance or death, it has something to do with, like, maybe knowing a little too much. Who can say? I'm very interested to see where that story goes.
Well, then they say, didn't Wim like come to the conclusion that the great work is making money?
Yes.
Yeah.
The kind of yes.
So what are they financing? Are they financing like the First Order? Are they financing? Not know it?
Could you imagine?
Because they don't know there was a war. They don't even know Alderaan blew up.
They didn't know Alderaan. Yeah, that was awesome. This is what Star Wars does best. And when they do this, you're like, yeah, I appreciate it. Where it's like, you can complain about Easter eggs, but no, this is the world they live in. And Alderaan was like destroyed, and they're not even aware of that. They don't know what's going on with Coruscant. Like, they don't know what's happening out there.
Yeah. And
I'm really curious about the wall there behind that they mentioned, kind of like a ring of Saturn, but you can't really see past it. You can only really see it at night too. And why are they hidden? And we learn a little bit more about why they're hidden, but why are they hidden? And I love that they're working it in with like Old Republic stuff, just to be like, hey, the universe is, the Star Wars universe, not within the galaxy, the Star Wars universe is full. And they're like, yeah, we acknowledge that it's more than just prequels, originals, and sequels.
Like, it's interesting the word like Old Republic, New Republic in this, because I feel like all of them were used at one point. It's just like, where exactly does at and fall? Like, when they talk about Republic credits, are they talking about credits from the Old Republic or the Republic prior to Battle of Yavin? Are they obviously not the New Republic as we know them? But like, I'm like, oh, that's gonna be probably episode 4 or 5 where like things start to be like, wait, where exactly do we exist?
Well, I got the feeling they didn't even know there was ever an empire.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if they knew about an empire, they might have known about Alderaan, maybe. Also.
And also, I wonder if like that suburb that is definitely Toronto, by the way. But I was there once, and even I realized it was Toronto. But I'm wondering if that like suburb, if that's like the only habitable place on the planet, maybe like the rest of the planet is just a wasteland.
Yeah, like how far can you venture off? Because that brings up a good point. Because in the first episode, when they get on the ship and the dad goes looking for them, those security droids are there right away to kind of get him out of there. Like they're like, you're not going any further than this, and they kind of like deter you from going into where they even were. Yeah. Now these droids suck at their jobs because Wim was able to get there and the kids were, and they dug for, I would imagine, a little while without anyone noticing. But there is something more to that planet where they can't go past a certain boundary. So yeah, I wonder what that is.
Well, like even in the first episode as well, they're like, why would we do that? We have the droids. We don't need to do any of that. The droids do all the work for us. It's like, oh yeah, well, I'm content to sit and do my 2 or 3 things and that's it.
I mean, because like the first episode where they're in like waiting to see the principal, and she said, "Oh, the last person who missed the assessment, he got sent down to the mines. That's what my grandfather told me." He's like, "Oh, you're just trying to scare me." But maybe there's some truth to it. Maybe if you do fail the test, that's what happens to you.
Become a mine worker, never to be seen again.
Like it totally, this whole like what they know of their society just reminds me of like Fallout, where they're like, we live in a bubble and we don't know what is outside that bubble, and we've never really questioned it because we're children. Maybe that is the whole point. It's like this society you can't really crack into because probably adults at some point will be like, okay, this is life, but kids are just like oblivious to what's going around, and so like we go on that journey with them and you're like, oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, it's something else I heard, and this is the Lego place that kind of leaked this. The name of the ship is the Onyx Cinder.
Ooh.
So SCINDER. So I'm wondering if that was part of, I don't know how long the ship's been there. It's been there a while, but it's possible it's part of Operation Cinder.
Oh. Man, why do they let Lego get away with this? Like, there it is. It totally says it. Like, I just Googled it, and it's just like straight up. Like, they don't have to call the thing anything. We already know what these characters like. Amazing. I like that though. Project Cinder. I could get behind that.
Hello there.
One thing I loved about this episode was because it is kids. And they bring up the fact that they're kids quite a bit. There was a couple jokes, but my favorite one was the moment when they're in the gunner seat shooting. And I think Wim says, "I got it." And Fern's like, "No, that was my shot." And it was like very kid. But also when Fern's like, "I'm not tired." And 2 seconds later, just passed right out like every kid would be. I was like, that's awesome. But how much has Jude Law elevated this whole series just with his like presence? Like, he feels like Star Wars when he says he has an old friend. I'm like, maybe because he's British, but I'm like, there we go.
I don't know. Anybody could just do that because it's just like the character is definitely not reliable within the first 5 to 10 minutes. So you're just like, it's Jude Law, great actor. But I was thinking about it, like Jude Law just plays Jude Law in every movie. You know what I mean? Like I can't like separate him from his actual person as the character. I'm like, yeah, it's Jude Law from The Holiday. It's Jude Law from
Best Score.
Just like, yeah, I'm a great actor, but just like, you know what I mean? So I think
was he a Jedi?
Anyone. Nah. No, I don't think so. He's not reliable, so I feel like everything he says, there's like a PS to it somehow.
He might just be a force sensitive who just somehow survive Order 66.
Yeah, I think he knows the Force. He knows how to use the Force to his advantage. I don't think, because they said they want to find a new type of Jedi, right? That was their whole shtick going in with it. Like the showrunners were like, we want a new type of Jedi, so they came up with like ideas and they talked to the story group and all that to figure it out. So when you think of that, you can kind of knock a few ideas off the plate. So I don't think he's a full blown Jedi, but he can clearly use the Force. Whether or not he can use it greatly remains to be seen. But I don't know if he has a lightsaber yet. I still wouldn't mind one sticking out of his pistol, which sounds really inappropriate when I said it, but that's not what I meant. Maybe he is a fallen Sith.
That just seems fallen Sith is a weird combination of words. You know what I mean? Fallen Jedi makes sense. Fallen Sith, I'm like, so he's good again? Maybe. I don't know. I would be totally fine if like he's like, well, I could do one trick. Like I've trained years on the piano, but I can only play chopsticks and that's it. Like I can only play 80s Joel. That's it. So it's just like I don't know. I mean, I'm totally fine if it's just like somehow he's confused us all.
Yeah, I just don't like I don't think he's completely good. I think Kim was being honest when she said he's using you for that, which I think was obvious from the get-go. Like I think the first time you see the trailer, you're like, oh, so he just wants the treasure. And then with the way they start the series and everything, he just wants their treasure and whatnot. I think that's very, very clear and obvious. But I'm excited to see like more of him with the kids. I like their dynamic, and I hope we get. It looks like we're gonna get a lot of these bonkers characters, man, like Kim and Alfred Molina, and all the people that made them their like weird lizard soup thing in the episode 1 or 2, whatever that was. I'm like, yeah let's get weird, Star Wars. Let's get weird.
Yeah, like it just looks good. The characters. I mean, there was a lot of dark scenes in this, and I had my one like living room lamp on, so on the dark scenes every once in a while I got a little bit of glare, but I was like it looks good to the point that I'm like I don't remember it looking as good in other of our Star Wars shows. I don't know, just on like the character design of the CG, or I don't know, it's all CG for this one, right? No practical or
it's like a mix of both. And Phil Tippett worked on it too, which is what really adds, I think, a lot of it. Is you got the OG in there doing it. That's what you want.
So I'm looking forward. My only complaint about this episode was like so short. More, please.
Yeah. I think your last little charcuterie you're talking about this. I think we're all in agreement that it needs to be dropped at once.
Yeah, I think this is one will be better to watch. Just wait for it all to come out. These are days where I'm like, oh, why do I have to have a weekly podcast? But I still enjoyed it. I think James said earlier the kids shooting and whatever, like the fun of like flying the ship. I'm like, end of the day, if this doesn't become an amazing story, this would be a perfect Disney park like ride of some sort where you just even like just like a Soarin', but it's Star Wars, but it's the kids running around. Like I'm like, I love everything about this part. Like what do you think, James? Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I was thinking the same thing. This needs, when they're breaking the cable, I'm thinking they need to make this into a ride or something. Maybe part of Star Tours. I don't know if they want to buy it, build a whole new ride. But
it has that vibe of like characters made strictly for like an amusement park. No disrespect to the characters. I'm really in. I think they're giving all the kid characters like their own little moment. I feel like KB had kind of a character journey in this one, if you want to call it that. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, like she can take care of like sensing android the droids.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Jude Law's character, he can sense if somebody's coming because of force.
Yeah.
And somebody even made the remark, "Oh, I guess she has the force too."
Yeah. When she flipped up her visor, my wife was sitting beside me and she's like, "Oh, she has eyes." I'm like, "Yeah, that's just like glasses or something."
But I think she had two mothers or something, and they were like worried about her life support system.
Yeah, she seems like she was
yeah.
born with something, and she has a medical thing, and so that's why she's probably like part droid, like Lobot, because they took a lot from Lobot for her apparently. So whatever that means, I don't even know. It was cool
like that idea.
I'm liking that the kids are like kind of becoming characters now instead of just plot devices more so. Like they're like, okay, you're starting to see who each one of them is, and you're going with them. And I'm curious to see where they're going to go. And is Wim going to be a Force user by the end of this?
I mean,
he desperately wants it. And they desperately want him to be a Force user. You know it's coming. He's going to have a magenta lightsaber, Brock.
I'm hoping not, but I just have this feeling maybe his mom was one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is maybe why his dad is so trying to be so serious all the time.
Actually, that made me think of something, Heidi, because it's like in the first episode, he has that book, or you know what they call a book, and it's all the Jedi stories or whatever. And the one scene that he has with his dad is like, "Hey, can you read me a story tonight?" And like he says no, but like he could be just referring to that book that he carries everywhere. That could be definitely a connection to his mother. And like, wouldn't that be really cool if it's like, I'm a Jedi and we're stuck here, but I'm going to teach you about the Jedi, even though we're not supposed to. I think that would be very interesting.
That's something I'm thinking maybe like, that's why his dad's like so cold to him, because something happened to the mom.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's something definitely nefarious about this planet.
Yeah. I think how many episodes are in this season? 8?
Yeah.
8, yeah.
They're hoping to do more than one season, but I don't know. The ratings weren't good, but the reviews on both sides have been good. So who knows?
I do think that the dad only has glasses so that in this episode he can stare into the distance, and then the glare could be like he's looking off into nothing. It's like that's the only reason he has glasses.
I mean, I want to know about that mural in her house.
Yes, that reminded me of the mural from Rebels. Did anyone get that vibe too, or no?
Well, I mean, I don't think it means anything, but I think the woman in the middle kind of looks like a cross between Leia and Padme. I don't know if that's just a coincidence. I don't know what this means, but if you notice, it's the 3 main species. It's the humans, the elephant species, and the hammerhead species.
Yeah. Interesting. I do like that. Yeah, it is. It just that the house just reeks of like 70s architecture. It's like beautiful. I loved it.
Danny in the chat, but they allow stories about the Jedi and they seem somewhat revered. So maybe this planet was hidden by the Jedi.
Maybe.
But I also kind of got the feeling, maybe I'm wrong. I also got the feeling that Wim and Neil are the only ones who know about the Jedi. Like maybe because they were playing, and those girls were like, "What are you doing?" Like, nerd. But maybe they had no idea what they were doing, and maybe Wim's the one who told Neil about the Jedi.
Yeah.
So Wim might be the one who knows what the Jedi are. Although I guess the girl did a little bit because she's like, I don't believe you're a Jedi or whatever. But
yeah, because she also says you said there was a Jedi temple.
So, yeah. So I don't know.
I like it. I think I hope this is in the show, because if we're thinking it up, then they did a terrible job.
I just hope whatever it is, get an explanation for it this year, and we don't have to wait till season 2 to find out, or season 3, or it gets canceled and we never find out. That's my only hope.
Yeah. But I don't know. I enjoy it. I think it's fun. Like I said, my only concern is I knew I was gonna watch it, but I was a little nervous about it because I wasn't sure I wanted to see a kids show. But I mean, there's a difference between a kids show and a show like Goonies. Like
Yeah.
adults who enjoy Goonies, but I didn't want to see Caravan of Courage.
Well, I would love to see that.
Well, that's on Disney Plus. So.
Is Wilford Brimley still alive? Can he narrate
I
again?
don't think so.
Paul Rudd is the same age, or he's older now than he was in
Yeah,
that movie.
even better.
You
Even
can get
better.
Paul Rudd to do it. Get Paul. But if the Jedi, or this is from Danny as well, weren't allowed to be mentioned, that carefully controlled planet wouldn't even let the hologram vids. Yes, that's a good point. Like that would be confiscated by those droids immediately if they could. And I don't know, the idea of the Jedi possibly hiding it for some reason, or who knows? That's an interesting one. Like, and at what point was it also hidden off from the rest of the galaxy? Like, were the parents of these kids when that happened, or were they not born, or was it recent? Like, was it because was it because of the Imperial reign? Like, once they got word that Shivi was taken over, they hid the galaxy. Did Jod Nana Wood hide this planet from the galaxy? Is Jod Nana Wood connected to it? I'm just gonna keep saying Jod Nana Wood.
But see, I don't think this planet's run by good people. I think this planet's run by nefarious people. I don't think I think they're living a lie. That's the feeling I get. I might be wrong. I don't know. Maybe the Sith are hiding it. I heard theories that there was Nihil was hiding it.
Oh, now you're talking.
Why?
The nefarious yeah, go ahead.
No, you guys go ahead.
No, I didn't. I just said to make money, I guess. I don't know. I don't know anything about the Nihil, to be honest with you. I'm just hearing like bits of things. Like I heard about Crimson Jack. I don't know who Crimson Jack is.
Yeah.
But I heard a rumor that he was Crimson Jack, and then I reported it to James, and James was like, "Oh, okay."
That's very interesting. Like that. Crimson Jack Star Wars. Like I was like, what? Oh, it's from the comics.
Yeah, but it's Legends. But the thing with the Nihil that makes sense to me, though, that you say that is Brock. I think, did we talk about this last week? Last week was a blur to me because nothing worked on my end. But this show was first conceived as a High Republic show.
Right.
So, and then like you said, like it was last week. So as you said, like the first episode kind of talks about like the trade routes and stuff. Like it's very High Republic-esque in a lot of what they were talking about in that the non-crawl that they had at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So it could work like that. Like that could be what it is, because I feel like they took a lot of what they were doing, but instead of making it in the High Republic, they made it in the Mandoverse timeline instead because of. I don't know what the reason is still. Maybe just because Favreau wanted to produce it. Or maybe he was like, why don't we do it? I'll produce it. It'll be part of this. Like, who knows why? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. That actually kind of ties together with that.
Yeah.
But if they're making like counterfeit money or whatever, who's doing it? Is it these different, like the Black Sun? Is it the Hutts?
I think it was what like James said last week. It was sort of like socialism, where it's just like, here is something that you hand to us to get something back, but it's just like recirculated again, right? Like it's just like, here's your chick, you can get your food at the cafeteria, sort of thing, or you're like, it's no different from like a food stamp sort of thing, but they're in pristine condition because they don't actually get circulated. I could see that.
I mean, is this tying back to Canto Bight, where the rich people were financing both the First Order and the Resistance?
See, like,
I'm just throwing stuff out there.
No, absolutely. Like the nefarious side of it, it's like the easy group to blame on this is the Empire. Like maybe a small like sleeper cell part of this empire where this planet was like hidden away, right? Like that no one knew about it. But I feel like it's older than the Empire, right? Maybe it's just somebody super rich. Like, yeah, like maybe it's gangsters like the Hutt. So it doesn't have that vibe of like slimy, which I know I just talked about a slug character, but you know what I mean? It's not, it doesn't have that seediness of it. It's like, it looks nice. I want to live on Ad. You know what I mean?
But that's only that one pocket that we've seen of Ad. And Heidi thinks the rest of it might be exactly what you just described.
Because that's the only planet that survived. They said there were like what 9 or something, and the others were destroyed.
Oh, I thought that meant just the maps, but yeah, that does make sense if they destroyed all these other hidden things.
Yeah, and who destroyed them and why?
Or maybe the leftover from when the Nihil destroyed them.
Yeah.
In the High Republic. I don't know. I'm just I don't know anything. I don't know anything about
I don't know anything.
Nobody knows anything about High Republic.
Brock, you read it.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of I said to you last week the Logan's Run.
Oh yeah,
they live in this idealistic city.
Yep.
And they have to commit suicide when they turn 30.
Yeah.
And they don't know that the whole thing's run by these robots who are basically running everything a certain way to keep the population down. And I don't think people are committing suicide at age 30, but I kind of got that feeling that the whole thing's run by like a computer and these people don't realize that they're being used.
Yeah, I mean, a robot would make sense. AI. They're being run by the new Coca-Cola Christmas commercial. That's what's happening. So.
No, I love, like, it's just like, what I like about this kind of storyline is like it could be anything and it's going to be really interesting either way. Or it's just going to be like, no, it's just a planet with a really good force field. Yeah. That would be not satisfying. That's what the tower does. The tower is like keeps the Sicilian tower on Ad and keeps them safe in the barrier.
I think one thing I really liked about them being kids was like Wim's complaint about how Neil gets to fly and he doesn't get to fly. I want to fly because it sounds like if you're playing Star Wars, like I want to fly. No, I want to fly.
So true.
And have you noticed? This is why I think he might have some kind of Jedi thing eventually. They might go because Wim is always second. He always gets left out in everything. He wants to be the captain. He's not the captain. He wants to fly the ship. He can't fly the ship. He gets the gunner seat. He doesn't get the gunner seat. But he's always like, he's like, oh, I want that. I want that. He keeps wanting it. I feel like at the end, he's going to get, I'm not saying Jedi, but he was going to get something. Like he's going to be front and center by the end of these episodes. The very last thing we're going to see is the race between Fern and that guy on the bike in the first episode, and it's going to end on a freeze frame when she wins the race. That's how it's going to end. But before that, Wim's going to have a moment, like a big hero moment. Don't say hero journey, Brock. A big hero moment, though, where it's like he gets his opportunity, his moment to shine, and he comes through and I'm not going to say saves the day, but he's going to have a moment like where he's front and center in front of these kids, and he gets. There's going to be could be wrong. There's going to be a payoff for him though. Not getting these moments along the way.
I think we're going to get back to Adam way sooner than the last episode. It's not going to be like, oh, what a fun journey we had, and now we're here. Bye. Like, I think your little race between like one kid in the first episode that could be a reality.
I honestly think it's ending with that race. That's how an 80s movie would end. That's how an Amblin movie would end in the 80s. Yeah. I agree. I think they're going to get there before. Before I didn't think we were going to get back at all. Now I think they're going to get back like episode like 4 or 5. Well, no, 4 is next week. So like 5 or 6 maybe, right? Like they'll get back and then like, what's going on? And then the pirates are going to show up on that ad and there's going to be a whole thing there. And we're going to learn a lot more in that moment. But it's going to end with the racing. I'm telling you. Vin Diesel was going to show up. Family. And family.
But I'm wondering, like, if we're going to get, like, a Din Djarin and Grogu cameo, because they already said they were going to hire bounty hunters to go after them.
I mean, maybe that's why they threw it in the Mandoverse. I don't think we're going to get any of that, to be honest, in this show. I don't think we're going to.
Yeah, I kind of agree, though I don't hate it because it's so easy to just drop them in.
I don't hate it either.
But yeah, like I feel like this one has to sort of be on its own. But I don't know. I'm also was like, who's gonna be in that little observation deck? What characters are gonna be? Like, who is it gonna be? Is it gonna be Yoda? I don't know. Maz Kanata? I don't know. So yeah,
that's the problem. It's like don't force any cameos in, and then the minute you hear a voice, whose voice was that?
Who is that?
Who's that? That was Wicket. It was 100% Wicket. Like, that's just the way we're tuned. But it's part of the man. Sorry, Danny. But it's part of the Mandoverse. Exactly. That's why Mando could show up, like because it's.
Oh yeah.
As long as, and I didn't have a problem with this back when it happened the first time, but as long as episodes 5 and 6 aren't just solely about Mando and Grogu, like just stick with the damn kids. I'm okay with it. I was okay with it in Book of Boba Fett, but I right now I'm like, let's just figure out these kids and see what happens. Jedi win.
Before he turned on the separatist droid, he turned on like a protocol droid, and it's like, oh, I gotta go save the prince.
Yeah.
Remind me of the saving Princess Leia in Star Wars.
I like that too.
Let me just Google this.
By far the best part of the episode was when Neil fell over and rolled down the sand dune. I'm like, Neil. I audibly said that out loud. I like Neil's the best. Just falls over.
I did like Neil a lot in this episode. I liked him before, but this episode there was something about Neil. I'm like, I think I'm all in on Neil. By the way, the moon, I like them. Like, remember we saw the stills and we're like, are they on a planet or what's going on here? And I don't remember what we said at all, but I was like, this looks cool. I like it. I like that there's like a planet like really close to them because they're on a moon. I kind of thought it was a cool concept.
By the way, Kim's house or whatever looked exactly like every 80s sci-fi.
Yeah, that is actually true.
It did. You guys talked a little bit about the music before we hit the record button. Let's touch on that before we get to the odds. I will say, I didn't really dig the music in it too much. Not even the part that you guys are in love with and going to talk about. That I was like, but there was other music parts in it where I was just like, Like it's just like it didn't feel like. I don't want to say it didn't feel like Star Wars, like like it just didn't feel like Star Wars, but it felt like generic sci-fi at times.
But I think that's what they were going for. I didn't necessarily love it either, but like I said, the reason George Lucas chose John Williams is because he didn't want typical sci-fi music. He wanted classical music. And I feel like they did that just because, like I said, they're flying into this house on this moon and they're playing the theremin, and it just fits the scene. It's like they were trying to get away. Not that they were trying to get away from Star Wars, but they're definitely going for an 80s sci-fi vibe a little bit. So I think maybe that's why they did it. I'm not saying but crazy about that music. I think that's the mood they were going through for the whole scene. I think that's why they did it.
Yeah, even when he went through the droids at the beginning, I was like, the music was just off. It just felt off. Like it just felt like they plucked it out of like generic tracks. Like when I watch a Hallmark movie with my wife, I'm like, they just chucked this music. Not that bad, but I don't know. I was just like, the music was like, nah. It wasn't. I thought it was better than like the Obi-Wan music had, but I was still like, that's Star Wars, man. Like, just use some freaking Star Wars music if you're gonna do it. Like, just like there's. It didn't. I love the episode. Let's just be clear. Like, it didn't ruin it for me, but I was like, I feel like I could have been elevated just if you just utilize what you have, man. Star Wars music is the best. Just use it. And they kind of did in the first couple episodes, I believe. Like, they threw in like little hints of themes here and there. I'm like, man, that for me, that was the weakest part of the episode was the music.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because Ram's like, it sounds like Star Wars, but it's not exactly Star Wars. It's like, what do you think that is?
It's not like Lost in Space, which was also John Williams.
John Williams, yeah.
He's Johnny Williams.
Johnny Williams. I love that score. That was my only like complaint for the episode. I mean, there's probably little things to nitpick, but
no, I mean it wasn't great Star Wars music, but I think they just did that because that's what the vibe they were going for. Stop.
Yeah. So we're all in agreement that Star Wars is dead.
Yeah, absolutely. And
it's happening.
Oh no, Kennedy. Wait, sorry. We retconned it. She's retired.
She's retired. KK is retired. And
you deserve it.
70 years old.
Oh my God.
Good job. I think I will say this though, because the ratings or the fake ratings anyway came out, and it didn't make the top 10 for streaming. And I do think that the ratings are going to go up. I think it's going to be the opposite of Accolade. I don't know if it's going to be I don't think it'll be a massive hit. I'm not saying that, but I think people are enjoying it. I think it's a fun ride. I think it's not offensive in any way whatsoever. And so I think people are going to latch on to this one eventually. And I think it'll be a binge watch at the end. I think that's when people are going to watch it.
I mean, the good news is, even though I did like the Acolyte got good professional reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, but lousy audience score. This one got high both.
Yeah, high on both. Yeah.
So I think that what's going on. I mean, that's what happened with Andor, and that eventually caught on. So yeah, it didn't.
This I don't know. I think it's just a good show. Whatever. Whatever. It's a good show. Same. I think the music. Who does the music for it? Is it Giacchino's son, who did the Penguin show, is doing the music for it?
Yeah, somebody's kid, I think.
Yeah, it's Giacchino's kid. He just did the Penguin. Now he's doing this.
Little Giacchino.
Must be nice.
Another Nepo baby.
Actually, this brings up Danny brings up a good point. Two things: it could be released on Disney TV channel, but also Disney can't market worth poop. This show was marketed like garbage. Let's be real. Like people. Did Rehab know it was coming out? Aaron had no idea what it even was the day I was watching it. But the thing is like it wasn't in anybody's face. Is my point. Like, if you didn't like Star Wars or looking forward to it, it's just it wasn't around.
It's like, what it is? It's like Netflix does a pretty good job of like, hey, this is what's coming up, and some people really like Reham really looks at it a lot. I don't, right? But just that opening when you open the stream or the main page, it plays like a video. So it's like you might get sucked in or something like that. Like, I don't want commercials on Disney Plus, but I wouldn't be mad if like each episode started with a preview of another show or something like that. I don't know.
I minded.
Well, I got the commercial one. So I got, I got last week, I got Moana 2 700 times. And today I got the Uber. It was an Uber commercial for me today. Like Uber, it was I don't even know what it was though. Like it said Uber, but it was like a girl graduating, I think. I didn't pay attention, but I was like, what is happening? Like, what is this? And then I stopped caring, and then a Lego commercial came on. And that's what I got.
Well, I mean, I have the thing. I just pay the one yearly fee instead of every month. But I don't even remember what the commercial was for because I skipped it. But it was for like a movie. It's like for an upcoming Disney show. And I have the option of skipping it, but I don't get commercial breaks.
I get the 22-second countdown in the top right corner. I'm like, when will you end? And then I go on my phone. I'm like, oh, was that Alfred Molina? That's what I do.
I mean,
I don't.
I'm sorry.
I don't want to see Moana 2 anymore. I'll tell you that. Like they shoved it in my face so much that I got sick of it. I was like, I don't want to see this. I did. I was like, oh, Moana 2. Then the fourth time it came on, I'm like, nope, I'm all out. I'm done.
I just think it's funny that the show that's trying to make you feel like an 80s kid again isn't releasing any toys.
Yeah.
Except the Lego ship that spoils
Lego.
the ship.
Mm-hmm.
I did see Jod Nana Wood at Walmart. But it was like
such
20.
A stupid name.
It is. It was like $27 or $25 for the 3 3/4 inch toy. What the? No, man, that is under $10. Anything over $10 for a toy like that is stupid. I'm sorry. It's like, it was like the Black Series Acolyte was like, what was it, like $47? I saw. I was like, why? Who in their right mind would be like, you know what, I need this figure for $50? It's not like it's a collector's item yet. It might be, but like, jeez, man, I don't know. Jod Nana Wood. Although when he said it, it didn't sound as ridiculous as when I say it.
Well, you guys are too young to remember Shauna Na. That's what that reminds me.
Shauna Na. Bowser.
Oh, you know, okay.
All right, let's go to the odds.
Let's do it.
I need a minute. Here we go.
Of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Never tell me the odds. It's brought to everyone here by patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. If you like what we do and you want to hear more Star Wars, why don't you go on over to patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast and support us in any way you can. We would greatly appreciate it. And we always appreciate the people that I have to find the list. I know the first one is Heidi, but we are very, very thankful. Even if we can't read out your names like off the top of our heads, but become one of the select few that thinks that this is a great idea that we continue to talk about Star Wars. And those people are Heidi Feder, executive producer, Bayer Brophy, Dennis Allen, Randy Kenobi, Mary Kristen Aton, Dale Erdman, Phil Staniforth, Reds, Scott D,
Josh Price, Matt W, Frank Perkins, Neil Lowry, Cosmic Girl 02, Gleek Play 1, Den of Nerds, Disney, Desi, Charlotte, Ron Pasek, and Jeff Wilson. Thank you so much for your support. And it paid off this week because my Chrome has only crashed once.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, and that was my Chrome that crashed. It wasn't like last week where just like nothing worked anywhere that I
sometimes I want to just jump on this call from my phone just to see how quickly it crashes. I'm like, no, let's do it.
Well, last week my phone didn't even work. That's when like I really lost my mind. That's when I couldn't even, and then my phone died. There was anyway, thank you for all of your support. Never Tell Me the Odds. This week odds brought to us by Patreon. Never Tell Me the Odds. Jod Nana Wood is really named Crimson Jack. His real name is actually Crimson Jack. So Brock, one more time, Jod Nana Wood has a real name and it's Crimson Jack.
I think we're gonna get like at least 2 more names because I don't think he tells anybody their real names. And I think I was thinking about during this episode, Nana Wood. I feel like is like I'm pretending to be a Jedi. What are Jedi names? I just made it off the top of my head. Like that's why that name sounds so terrible. It's like it's a guy that's not actually a Jedi. So I think Crimson Jack just sounds so made up. But I'm gonna say 0% because I don't think we won't maybe not get his real name. Period.
Heidi?
That's obviously a pirate name. So I'm gonna go. I'm also gonna go 0 because I'm pretty sure that's a pirate name.
I'm gonna go 11%, 11.1% on it, because it sounds made up. John on the Wood sounds made up. Silvo sounds the most realistic, but it's probably also made up. I think you're right.
It's
I
a
think
play on Long John Silver, isn't it?
yeah,
Oh.
he's totally long. Heidi, that's the third odd.
Sorry.
He's totally Long John Silver in all of this. I don't think any of them are his real name. I don't know if we'll learn his real name, but I think we will learn that he is Fern's father. All right, next next odd. Jude Law. Oh, the planet won't have any real treasure when they get there. Atten won't actually have any real treasure that Jod Nana would or the pirates can confiscate. There won't be anything there except for hopes and dreams.
Heidi, you want to go first?
I mean, unless he's wrong. I mean, like that kid guessed. I mean, Wim guessed that they're just making credits. So I don't know. So it depends how you look at it. It's maybe there's like a bunch of kyber crystals. I have no idea. I'm just gonna go full Brock. I don't know.
Nice. Like if we knew it could possibly be taking place during the original trilogy or even prior to like maybe like prequels era, I'd be like, oh, they're hiding a Death Star part on there or something like that. I'm gonna go 80%. It's definitely doesn't have what the myths are saying. So it's like perhaps there is something that's really worth it, but it's just like it's nowhere near what what people think is on Adad.
I know what I think of there. It has something to do with the odd I gave. But...
I'm gonna go full Brock as well. There's something up with the planet.
Oh yeah.
And there's something up there's something up that's beyond what we're being led to believe. My Chrome might die again, people. Just I got the warning. Last time I didn't get the warning. Doesn't matter. And our final out today, Jude Law's character, much like Long John. So Jude Law's character will have an ambiguous ending. Will we know if he lives or dies by the end of it? His ending in this whole thing will be left to the imagination.
I want to say yes, because I feel like a character like that, like a pirate, is always fun, right? Mm-hmm. I love Hondo just because, like, oh, Hondo he's always up to something. Like, you can love that character, right? Mm. But Jude Law is probably expensive. So it's sort of like, unless this is a major success, we're not going to bring you back. But they could still end the story. They still could be like, did he make it out? I don't know. I think the odds of his having an ambiguous end is definitely going to happen. So I'm going to go 99.9%.
Wow.
Was that all Brock? Or no, it's like full Brock is 50-50. 100% is like
all Brock.
All Brock.
I like all Brock. Heidi, I'll let you go last, and I'm gonna go 78.7% for all the reasons Brock just said.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 80, but I think he will do something that you won't know if he lives or not, but it'll be a self-sacrifice thing.
Oh yeah. He's gonna be like, I have to save these kids. I'm Jude Law. And then the holiday music's gonna play, and I'm gonna be like, best music ever. Yeah.
But you forgot mine. I think you won.
Oh yes. Hold on. Let me go for
I'm gonna give it now.
Sure, you want to do it? I have it here. Okay.
Dude.
What are the odds that they're actually on Exegol? And the treasure is Palpatine.
Like the barrier is not the entire planet. It's just the barrier around them. Like they're in a dome and like everything else is that weird hellscape that is Exegol. I would love it to be. It would be so random, but I think it would be. I think it like. I'm gonna go again. All Brock on this one.
Brock.
I want that to happen.
I would wanting it to happen. I would go all Brock, but whether it'll happen, I'm going to go 57%. How about that? Why?
The
Why
other thing,
not?
the only thing I thought about is because maybe there's like a secret to life or something, and that's how they're dealing with him. Maybe that's where the Sith cult is. So I'm just gonna go full Brock. Hey, Mike.
Favreau was not fired. KK did retire about 10 minutes ago. You missed that.
Yeah. We got her a cake.
KK's retirement. Those are our odds. She got her cake. It was a vanilla with buttercream icing. And she said, I wanted chocolate. And now she unretired because of it. Brock, let's go to the news. Ready? Hey, you've got a story, and I'm going to make
I have one story. Today in Hollow News, crickets. The only news today is I'm gonna get the name wrong now that I'm on the spot. Jeremy Allen White, aka the guy from The Bear, aka the guy from Shameless, is gonna be the voice of Jabba's son in Mandalorian and Grogu. When I read this, I was like, "Is it April Fool's again?" And I'm like, "Are we being rickrolled?" But a lot of outlets are reporting this, so cool. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, is he gonna target Leia or something? Or because I think he would want to kill Leia because she killed his dad.
I guess. As much as I love Hutz, I do not care about this. Oh, he's gone. There he is. Yeah, I don't know. I like Jeremy Allen White, but and I love The Bear, but I don't know. It just feels like you could get anybody for a voice of a massive slug.
I heard he's gonna be buff.
He's like, my contract is I worked out for Iron Fist or Iron Claw or whatever it was called, that wrestling movie. And he's like, you got to show these traps.
Yeah, that's why I was the I'm sorry, I got hair in my face now. No, I heard on I think it was Star Wars Meg that unlike his dad, he's gonna be very buff. But
yeah, I don't know. I feel like
oh, sorry.
Yeah. What are the odds that Yuzum will be in the next episode?
I'm going all Brock.
What's a Yuzum? I can't remember.
The Jabba's Palace rat thing. I don't know how to
okay.
The singer dude.
Oh. I don't know. Full Brock.
Full Brock.
5%.
So I saw when I first heard the news about the actor playing Jabba's son. The first tweet I saw was just heard news that Jaw is in the Mando and Grogu movie. And I go, what the frick is a Jaw? And I Googled Jaw, could not figure it out. And then eventually Variety was like, here's the news. And I was like, oh, just say the damn name, man. Jaw.
I've never heard
Jaw Nanawood.
That's cool. I do like those initials, though. I'd be like, yeah, I would own that if that was my initials.
I would totally agreement, but I didn't know anything what the hell. Does anyone call him Jaw? Is anyone walking around like, do you watch the new episode with Jaw? Jaw was good, bro.
Nope. Yuck.
Top 5.
Top 5. That's 10.
Top 5 Star Wars Pirates. Star Wars Pirates, top 5. My number 5, let's just call it what it is, guys. Let's call it what it is. My number 5, Jod Nanawood. Is he really in my top 5? Probably not. Did I just want to say Jod Nanawood again? Yes. So number 5, Jod Nanawood.
My number 5 is Hondo. My number 4 is Hondo. My number 3 no. My number 5 is, and I apologize, I cannot remember the character's name, but the Swamp Thing captain from
Yes.
Mandalorian.
Yeah.
That looks so good.
Yeah. I don't remember his name. The one that we all thought was going to be in this show, and then he dies a horrible death, and we're like, oh, it's the other guy that looks like the puppet. Heidi?
I'm going to go with Fee from the Bad Batch.
Yes.
Nice.
Played by Wanda Sykes.
Wanda Sykes, yeah. I totally forgot about that character. That's a good choice.
My number 4 is Crimson Corsair. The Crimson Corsair from The Force Awakens had a really good book that I read. It was like a children's book, but don't judge me. It was fun. And this is when they would do like side stories for these characters that popped up in Star Wars. They've stopped doing that now because, why get people excited over nothing? I'm looking at you, Constable Zuvio. So my number 4 is the Crimson Corsair.
My number 4 is going to be Brutus because I would argue he's more of an interesting pirate than Jojo, JJ, and
yeah, but who has a more interesting name?
Brutus. You want to know why? Because it makes sense and you can say it. So he's my number 4.
Heidi?
What was the name of the guy who was like the first mate to the sea slug?
Like the Ugnaught?
Yeah. No, not the Ugnaught. The other one, the guy. He was in The Mandalorian, but he's also in the show.
Oh, Vane.
Yeah.
Vane, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Vane. My number 3, Brock, the name you were looking for is my number 3. It's Gorian Shard.
Yeah.
Shard.
See, that's a name. That's a good name.
Yeah, but what you don't know is his middle name is Jod.
Jadana.
I like the way he delivered it, though. He goes, "What's your name?" Janana Wood.
And that's the last time we're gonna say it.
Wait till you hear my number 1. Brock, your number 3.
This is maybe a cop out, but Lando calls him this Han Solo. He's you old pirate counts.
Yeah, I decided not to use Han in mine because, but yeah, 100% Han counts. 100%. Heidi?
She should be higher, but we didn't get much of her. Maz Kanata.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Maz. She might show up in this show. Probably not. But that would be interesting. I wish they would do something with Maz Kanata. My number 2. Brutus, Wood. Brutus is my number 2 because he's just when they cut to that close of him this week, I'm like, yeah, you're the best. Keep on trucking, Brutus. We need more space wolves in Star Wars. When George Lucas first created Star Wars, he says, we need space wolves, and then they removed him for the special edition, and now he's a side character in a show. Brock, number 2.
Oh, freaking! What's that guy? And maybe he's not technically a pirate, but do you remember in Rebels there was like a guy they would always deal with that wasn't Hondo, that was like on what was the planet they're on in Rebels in the first,
Lothal?
at least the first, Lothal. There was he was a
Yeah.
I feel like he was a pirate, so that guy.
Sure, why not?
Sure, yeah.
I don't know his name either though. Dale, let us know his name. Heidi, you're number 2.
I'm going to go with Hondo.
Vizago.
Hondo.
No. Well, Heidi, that's my number 1. Hondo Anaka, number 1, all day, every day. Bring him in, you cowards. Hondo Anaka. Brock, he was your number 5. Who's your number 1?
Hondo. 100%. Why is there no shirt with him on at like Galaxy's Edge? Like,
I've never been there. I don't know.
How? Ugh. Love it. Hondo. He would be great in this show too.
Look, his name was Sakatro Vizago. Sakatro. Love the episode. Think Skeleton Crew is, I don't know, I just think it's a fun time. Like, great. And you know what? Love the length of the episode, guys. Loved it. Loved that it ended. And I was like, oh, it's not midnight. This is fantastic.
I didn't get my number one.
Oh, did you not give your number one? Go ahead.
Oh, because your number two is Hondo. You cheated us, right?
Well, I decided not. Han Solo would have been number one, but I'm not gonna do Han Solo, so I'm gonna do SM-33.
Oh, yeah. Nice. I love the little rat in his eye. Well, you know what was funny though? In Star Wars, actually, at the very beginning of this podcast, Star Wars said "I," and I just realized now that is what Smee says to John and Nana Wood twice when he goes "I."
Star Wars said this on our what? Like the
Were you not
Star
paying
Wars
attention?
channel? I
Yeah,
see
like
it right
Star Wars.
there.
Yeah, Star Wars joined us for the first little bit. They also told us the name of the episode. Were you?
Wow.
Star Wars is fact checking us now. They're like Star Wars is like, well, nobody's watching them. We got to fact check these losers. Yeah, Star Wars, big fans of the Rebel Scum podcast. I don't know. If you know
Wow.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know why? Because we're big fans of the name Jod. No,
If that's his real name, I'm going to be mad. Like,
I hope it is. That's what the toys are marketing him as. So he better be Jod. No. I like Smee was a good call. Smee, he's no Brutus though, Heidi. Just want to.
There's no Earth either.
Never tell me that Smee kills Brutus at the end.
Yeah, like he's definitely got the most pirate, like stereotypical pirate vibe to him. You know what I mean?
He's better when they were like Nick Frost is doing this droid, and I was reading it. I was like, way better in the show than I read on paper, is what I'll say. Like,
absolutely,
I think so. Anyway, yeah, it's fun. Star Wars is having fun. All right, let's wrap it up. Heidi, do you have any books you want to talk about?
I don't think I can. I have a cat. How about that?
Any cat? What's your cat's name?
Chance.
Hey.
Chance. We have to get a Chance to sign a waiver now.
I mean, I can't even get it right now.
Chance. Oh, look at Chance. Chance is like, I was a Kim. I'm an owl.
Here we go. Okay, real quick. I'm gonna get my books.
Yeah.
Which are my
Chance co-wrote them with you also.
Yes. Well, they sit on my lap at the time, so anyway, pen name Ann Drayton. Go to Amazon.com, or this one. This one's under my real name.
Ooh.
Based on the kind of retelling of Swan Lake. But you have to be 18, please.
Go to amazon.com/amazon.ca as well. It's all there, right? Can you buy it?
Yeah, seeing it all over the world.
Nice. Do you know how far out your book has come? Do they give you that like analytic? Like, oh, we shipped one to Antarctica.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten some, most of them from the U.S. I've gotten some from Canada. And,
Nice.
And
Nice. Yeah, that's great. So everyone that's on the chat, go buy all the books now.
Unless don't buy it for kids.
Don't buy it for kids. I
No,
know we're talking about a kid's show.
When I was in Toronto,
yeah,
somebody's like, "Oh, Sarah, you like books about dragons?" I'm like, no.
Fantastic.
We should put the link to them in the description.
Yeah.
I won't do it now because I might crash my. You know what? I'm gonna do it now. If it crashes, it crashes. Amazon.com.
Alexa, buy the collected works of Ann Drayton. Okay, it's done. Everyone's got it. Siri.
Everyone's got it. There
Okay,
go.
Google.
Let's do Ann Drayton. Oh, I spelled that completely wrong. Drayton.
Name my street.
Don't dox yourself.
I did with the porn name.
Ah, yeah, porn name.
My middle name and my street name.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll put
or
that
does-
in the description.
It's also your pet's name, your mother's maiden name, so chance rant probably not good.
Oh, it won't let me save the changes because the stream is low. All right,
God.
Brock, anything else you want to say?
No. I like Skeleton Crew.
Oh, that's good to know.
I get milk and cookies from some guy.
Not Andrew.
Not Andrew.
Yeah, it's a Christmas classic that people read around the campfire every December 25th. That's what
I
that
read
is.
it around the Yule log on television.
And then you throw it in.
No.
Brock,
I
anything
did
you'd
the
like
whole
to say?
side scroll. For hours.
Brock, anything you want to say?
Nope. I'm excited for the next episode. See you in a week.
See you in a week. Thanks everybody for watching. I really appreciate all the chat, talk, like, subscribe, do all the fun stuff. Brock, until next time, you were always scum.
Scum.
Bags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.